Remove the fasteners that secure the panel to the vehicle. Pry up the center of the rivet first. This will unlock it. Next, pry up the base of the fastener.
There are 10 rivets that need to be removed. We recommend changing your bulbs in pairs. If one bulb is burnt out, its counterpart bulb is likely near the end of its life as well. Bulbs get dimmer by 20% over time, which is another great reason to change both bulbs at once.
Lift the panel to remove it.
There are 5 more rivets that need to be removed. Here's a closer look at the rivets you need to remove. We recommend wearing gloves when changing your lights. The oils on your fingers can create hot spots and cause the bulb to burn out prematurely. Turn the wheel to give yourself better access to the lining. Pull away the wheel well lining for access to the bulb assembly. The wheel well lining can be pretty rigid and sometimes sharp, so it's a good idea to have a pair of gloves before attempting this repair.
Remove the bolt by turning it counterclockwise.
Turn the wheel to give yourself better access to the lining. Pull away the wheel well lining for access to the bulb assembly.
Remove the bolt by turning it counterclockwise.
Alright guys, so this is for the headlights, and what we want to do is basically any fastener that's along the front here, we need to take off in order to remove that bumper.
Remove the screws by turning them counterclockwise.
There are 4 screws that need to be removed.
Remove the bolts by turning them counterclockwise.
There are 5 bolts that need to be removed. There are 4 more screws that need to be removed.
Remove the bumper.
It doesn't matter which side you start on, but we're basically going to find the seam here and then just pull this off. You have to kind of lift up as well. So now we can see we have that whole side off. There's a tab right here and a tab right here that kind of hold on the bumper here to actually the headlight housing.
Try to pull in a controlled manner when removing this from the vehicle. Pull the bumper away from the vehicle.
This one right here actually didn't come out properly, so what we're going to have to do is pull this out and reattach it to the bumper before we reinstall the bumper. Last tabs that we took out, you can see one of them is still kind of here. It's supposed to actually be attached to the bumper, so we'll just get a pliers and then we'll show you when we reattach the bumper. I'll show you how to put this back. It's really simple.
Remove the bolts by turning them counterclockwise.
There are 4 bolts that secure the housing to the vehicle.
This is the section that I'm going to show you now on the top of the headlights where we have to kind of lift up like that, and you can see that that kind of slides off like that, okay?
Take the bulb housing out of the vehicle. Disconnect the bulb housing. Reconnect the bulb housing. Reinsert the bulb housing into the vehicle.
Align the tabs and push the housing to get it back into place.
And then when we're putting it back on, this section should go down kind of into this hole here. Just like that when we get the headlight housing back into place.
Replace the bolts by turning them clockwise.
It's a good idea to hand tighten the bolts before securing them to the vehicle.
Considering the amount of effort required to access the bulb assembly, we recommend replacing both sides at once.
Make sure the bulb housing is secure. Here's a closer look at how to replace the fastener.
The outside panels on the edge need to go underneath the bumper, and then the panel that's kind of in the middle needs to go on the outside of the bumper. So you can kind of just get the bumper up there and then double check that afterwards to make sure that everything's good. But essentially we're just going to bring this up into place here. And what we want to do is push right about here and here because that's where those clips are.
Align the bumper with the body before securing it to the vehicle. It's important to make sure it's set properly, otherwise it won't attach correctly.
Align the tabs before insertion. It's a good idea to hand tighten the bolts before securing them to the vehicle.
Replace the bolt by turning it clockwise. Replace the wheel well lining. Tuck the lining behind the lip of the bumper. Replace the bolt by turning it clockwise. Replace the wheel well lining. Tuck the lining behind the lip of the bumper. Align the base of the rivet first. Next, push down on the center to lock it in place. Align the panel with the body before securing it to the vehicle. It's important to make sure it's set properly, otherwise it won't attach correctly.
Replace the remaining rivets.
The panels kind of on the outside here near the wheel well, those need to go underneath the bumper kind of like that. And then this panel that runs along the front of the bumper, this one sits on the outside of the bumper. So when you put the bumper back on, make sure those panels are aligned properly before you go ahead and put your bolts back in.
Replace the screws by turning them clockwise. Replace the bolts by turning them clockwise.
It's a good idea to hand tighten the bolts before securing them to the vehicle. There are 4 more screws that still need to be replaced.